In the last 2 years, the demands on our living space and center of life have changed dramatically to all of us. COVID made our home the most important place. Our needs have changed or at least shifted. At the same time, however, the range of furniture, furnishings, ideas, trends, innovations and needs has become ever greater. As a result, materials were no longer available or experts no longer had appointments. And making decisions has not exactly become easier. Some of you have probably asked yourself, which trends are the right ones for me and also for my requirements and won't be over by tomorrow? And how can I plan interior design and interior projects with the right colors, decors and materials? Well, these questions and above all, the answers will be the subject of today's webinar. I have invited 2 amazing experts to join me today. So first of all, welcome Kees Elans. And Kees is the founder of the trend consultancy Trends Active. He is specialized in changing needs of people and for almost 2 decades, he advises global customers like IKEA, Disney or Vodafone. Kees is convinced that the key for relevance is to find within the human context. And here he is. A very warm welcome, Kees.
Hello, Claudia.
Nice to have you here today.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Very much looking forward. So where are you coming from right now?
Utrecht, which is the center of the Netherlands.
Very nice. I hope we will have a very cool and good conversation today about trends. Very much looking forward to that one.
Me as well.
But we are not alone. We have another expert. So then you can join me in welcoming Heike Schlosser. She's interior specialist and designer at Swiss Chrono Group. She curates and designs the decors and surfaces for Swiss Chrono. And therefore, she always has her finger on the pulse. Heike must know and anticipate the current trend developments. And here she is. A very warm welcome, Heike.
Hello, nice to see you.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
Very fine, thank you.
Great.
And hi, Kees.
So, Kees, as I just said, you advise companies on how to make their products and also services more relevant and also meaningful for their customers. So that's why my simple question to you, how do brands make their offering more relevant?
Yes, well, simple question, simple answer, I hope. I think to do that is to align with the changing needs of people. I mean, if your brand or your service or your product is not aligned with people's needs, you simply won't sell. So take an interior, for example. It's clear that there is not one interior that fits everyone. A teenage interior is totally different than the interior of his parents, as they both have different functional and emotional needs. So what a Generation Z teenage boy finds visually attractive is most likely very different than what his Generation X mother finds attractive. And that's exactly what you need to find out as a brand, because when designing or developing or selling your product, you need to ask the question, what need of people do we fulfill with our offering?
That's a very interesting point of view. So Heike, then I would assume that it makes total sense for Swiss Chrono to adapt their products and also interior collections to customer needs. Am I right?
Yes, definitely. That not only makes sense, but it also is anchored in our attitude. We don't make products for ourselves, but we want to meet our customers with our collections, accompany them in their design projects, and also enable them to advise their customers in turn.
Heike, I've introduced yourself as a very experienced decor designer, and you also have a great deal of knowledge in industry. And I'm also pretty sure that you've already created many decors in your career. So can you tell us, how do you inspire yourself again and again and again? So what is your source of creative inspiration?
Actually, apart from traveling, it is above all the people and customers who inspire me. We also exchange ideas with our clients about their input and requirements. But artists can also be a great inspiration. As a big fan of materials, I actively move in nature and absorb colors and structures. There are also many exciting things to discover in the urban environment, like exhibitions or street art. And actually, taking a shower is very inspiring for me.
Honestly,
Yeah,
when you have a shower,
really.
you get inspired.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so that's a fun fact about you. Thank you very much for sharing. So, dear viewers, today it's mainly about being able to inspire you. And therefore, Kees and Heike will present 4 current interior trends to you. And they will show you why these trends will determine the interior world in the future, and most important, how you can implement them. In parallel, we have prepared a poll for you, and you will find the survey button just above the screen. We want to know which trend is your favorite. We have international customers, so we just would like to know if there are any differences between the countries. So please let us know. Right, then we are all excited. What are the 4 trends? And I'm very happy to handing over to Kees, who will start his presentation. Kees, please go ahead.
Thank you, Claudia. Let's start. Well, in our world, the world of trends, there are 3 areas of trends. On top, you have macro trends. And these are large global forces that shape the world we live in. I think of geopolitical, economical, technological, or demographical shifts, like 9/11 or a climate crisis or Corona. And the problem with these global forces, these macro trends, is that they are too large. So you as a brand have no influence whatsoever on these forces. The only thing you can do as a brand is anticipate to them. But how do you anticipate? And I believe the best way is by understanding what effect these global forces, the macro trends, have on the needs and behavior of people. Below, you have micro trends. They are short-term shifts, mainly in the area of products and services. So think of new VR gadgets in the metaverse, think of craft beer, subscription-based e-commerce, or men with perfectly shaped beards. Now, the problem with microtrends is that they are merely short-term, and the why behind these trends are most of the time totally unclear. So you as a brand are only able to copy it, but just as your competition. So it means you're always reactive. And in the middle, we found sociocultural trends, and they describe the changing needs and behavior of people and are derived from human sciences like sociology, psychology, anthropology, gender, and generational studies. Now, what's so interesting about sociocultural trends is that they, on the one hand, answer the why question behind product and industry shifts, and give tangible insights into the effects of macro trends on people, so you as a brand are able to anticipate. So let's take an example of a macro trend. For example, the feminization of society. Values addressed to females are increasingly present in our global society. When this, on its turn, leads to a counter-reaction with some males. As some men feel like their manhood is in danger as they are increasingly criticized on their male-addressed traits. So one of the manifestations is that some men start doing things that make them feel more male, like growing beards, or start brewing beer, or go hunting and become a barbecue master, for example. Another example is Corona. It's a disruptive event on a macro level, led to the adoption of hybrid working, well, and that practically, we all know it, means Zoom or team calling the whole day. And that has led to an increase in plastic surgery. And you think, how can that lead to an increase of plastic surgery? Well, because people see themselves all the time in these calls, and they become actually more insecure about their looks. And this happened with female, but also with a lot of males. And the point I try to make here is, if you just look at the manifestation, men with beards, increase of plastic surgery, you miss the context, you miss the human context, the real understanding on the why behind the what. So, macro trends, they're large, long-term trends, not practical as there are no human needs involved. Then we have sociocultural trends. They focus much more on the why. They're mid, long-term trends, and they're all about changing needs and values of people. And below, you have microtrends, the daily manifestations, most of the time short-term manifestations. So according to these 3 trend areas, we have derived 4 interior trends. And we started with selecting 4 macro trends: individualization, sustainability, health, and new work. And per macro trend, we derived the human needs behind it, the need for experiences, the need for mental well-being, the work for work-life balance, and the need for more conscious lifestyle. And then in the end, each need crafted one of the 4 interior trends. So let's go to trend number 1, playful spaces. This trend is all about the playful interaction with our architecture and interiors. There are actually many drivers behind this interior trend. One of the major drivers is the need for authentic experiences over material possessions. People increasingly long for experience as they are seen as more authentic and Instagrammable. And back in the days, you needed expensive stuff to show the world you were successful. And nowadays, and that's especially for young generations, it is possible to materialize experience on social media and share them with the whole world. And you see this in store as well. We now have superior e-commerce or online stores. So physical stores need to go that extra mile to draw attention, because the reason to go to the store is therefore changing as well on the consumer side. And the store has to deliver, let's say, something extra than the online experience. So we see more and more stores investing into visual, playful, and aesthetic, immersive experiences. And another important driver of this trend is Corona and complex times. Due to Corona and the increasing complexity in the world we live in, people really long for escapes. And playfulness is definitely one way to do so. And the trend playful spaces will definitely not go away anywhere soon. The materials, products and colors will change quickly, but the need behind it, that won't change that fast. And at this point, I would like to invite Heike to explain how she's working with the trends.
Thank you for your interesting insights, Kees. And what expressed this longing for playfulness better than color? It is one of the most fascinating and exciting things to address. Color is the language to express yourself and your identity. Color shows how you feel and can change your mood. Color helps you to get into the mood you want to be. So in playful spaces, we give an answer to the search for optimism expressed in color. Experiment bravely with bright and bold shades in monochromatic harmony while staying in one color family, or express happiness in an active, balanced mix. Dive into the world of color and feel free to find your own style and in our huge range of colors. Everything is allowed to make you feel happy. We combine in the mood behind me a communicative, mindful look. It says, hello, come in and feel easy. The wood grain we are adding here is a pine from our Coripel flooring collection with an authentic texture and a haptic experience. Pine is the structure which we associate with simplicity and freshness for young, playful spaces.
So, thank you very much. And you both have chosen the perfect trend to start with because happy always sounds good. Kees, I would like to invite you for a small, tiny discussion because I would have a few more questions to you. I would like to start with you, Heike. So, you're talking about colors. Are there any trend colors right now?
Well, as I said, the bright colors are very trendy, but people associate colors with certain characteristics. There are a few cultural specifics, but on the whole, color can be understood as an international language. Let's take blue. The most popular color, I would say, in Europe, and always part of trends. The color of sky and water has something intangible, dreamy, and encourage innovation. Blue is also clear, which is why it inspires confidence, and why many banks and insurance companies like to use blue in their logo. Incidentally, blue has also replaced green as a color for ecology. Today we speak of blue ecology. Blue combines technical progress with nature conversation, so to speak. With yellow, we associate sun, serenity, and enlightenment, which is why it also stands for the divine. Rhapsody and Tender Rose are on the red side, bringing tenderness and passion into the combination. If we take out the blue tones, we get a quite light-hearted, cheerful, but also creative look. The balance moves to a quite feminine mood.
I didn't know that blue is such an important color, so thank you for sharing your insights with us. Kees, you said something. That was more stores investing into visual, playful scenes. Sounds interesting. Do you have any examples for us?
Actually, many, because it's happening all over the world, and you see it happening in let's say, all the famous brands, of course, luxury brands, etc. But I think an example that I liked the most that I saw last year was of Gentle Monster, which is a spectacle brand from, I think, South Korea. They're present in at least 40 countries. Very popular on Asian millennials as well. And it's what they do with their shops and their interior. They turn that into a gallery, an art gallery, and you have to check it out. Go Google it. I was really struck by the playfulness of their stores.
Sounds really cool. Do you know by chance where they are located?
No, I know they're in the US. I know they're in at least 40 countries, based in South Korea. But I haven't visited a store yet. So
okay,
no.
we will check it out.
Yeah, we have to check it out. I need to go there as well. Yeah.
All right. So then, first of all, thank you. And then I would suggest we go ahead right away to the next trend, and that is conscious home. And Kees, handing over to you.
Yes,
go
thank
ahead.
you. Yes, trend number 2, conscious home. Well, I guess I don't have to explain that people are increasingly more conscious about the impact of our behavior on the planet. And this consciousness is visible all around us. So now that means that people are increasingly conscious as well about the materials they consume and use, and the impact on the climate, but also what these materials, what sort of impact it has on their health. From a sociocultural perspective, this consciousness originated by women. Women are increasingly in charge in a global society. They are the prime decision makers when it comes to the purchase of consumer goods. I think all the research shows it's at least 80+% being responsible of the purchase of consumer goods. So compared to men, they are more concerned about the effects of their decisions. They are more long-term thinkers and therefore more sustainable shoppers. And as female values are increasingly important in our global society, I think you can say that their influence has now reached everyone in our global society, as these women actually have raised the young generations with these specific value sets, this conscious value sets. This conscious mindset is also clearly visible within our interiors, where we see an increase of more conscious choices. We see more sustainable, we see more durable products, for example. Also, health is a driver for this interior trend. Health is a big topic, it's a huge topic. And as we live in a more urbanized and also more polluted areas, people are also increasingly more conscious of their environment, including the materials that surround them, especially in their home. Because if you look at 2020, we spent roughly, I think it was around 62% of our waking time at home. So it makes total sense to be more conscious of the materials surrounding us. And please, Heike, explain how you work with the trend conscious home.
Thank you. As Kees told, people are becoming more and more aware of their environment and especially of themselves. They want healthy materials that support and promote mental well-being, and to give that good feeling to keep the ecological footprint as small as possible. Conscious living is characterized by soft, natural materials and sensitive haptic surfaces that flatter the soul and create a serene atmosphere. Lime is the wood of the choice here and really healthy, not only the blossom. The tree, it is often planted in places of culture, meeting points of a village, for example, and provides balance. The lime tree has a feminine, peaceful aura, gives security, and promotes creativity. In our room scene, lime tree with a velvety supermatte surface is accompanied by the beige textile pattern with a very tactile, sensitive texture. Together with the warm and light natural tones, they perfectly reflect this conscious living and create a wonderful, soothing, cozy, mellow mood. And to make this topic perfect, we have all our decors in the Be Safe surface available on request. This material offers a triple protection against virus, bacteria, and fungi.
So, thank you very much for your insights, and maybe Kees, you would like to join us for a tiny discussion, because I think it is a very important topic, because we are talking about health and also sustainability. And so my question, first of all, would be to you, Heike. What is the state of the art according to sustainable and healthy materials?
Well, sustainability is very much in focus across all sectors. This applies to sources, production, processing, employee responsibility, and absolute transparency. We have also developed several products. These include Be Safe, Beyond, and our Coripel flooring collection, which is particularly robust, antibacterial, and 100% waterproof. Durability is also a feature of sustainability. Beyond is the most environmental friendly chipboard on the market, with next generation bio-based binders for the next generation of consumers. And Be Safe has a triple protection effect against viruses, bacteria, and fungi.
Thank you. So, Kees, you said something that is still in my head. You mentioned that consciousness is rooted by female values, and I would be interested, does this trend apply to male as well?
Good question. Yes, I'm convinced it's definitely relevant for males as well. I think if you look at the colors, etc., and the roundings, this maybe applies a little bit more to the female side, but the whole consciousness aspect is definitely something, as I explained, something relevant for male as well, because especially young generations, they are raised by, let's say, these values addressed to women, this conscious mindset. So yes, it will influence male as well, and I think when it comes to sustainability, a topic like that, I think there's also a big chance to involve men within this conscious behavior. For example, by focusing more on, let's say, the status part of sustainability, like Tesla does. They don't communicate about, communicate much about sustainability. They communicate about a status car and design, etc. So that's a way to attract males as well into this trend.
Thank you. There's another point I would like to discuss with you or ask you. So as we all know, COVID changed quite a lot. Kees, would you agree that COVID also changed our hygienic behavior?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, we all have been in the situation of keeping distance. We're walking around with masks. We have to show. So everybody is focusing for the last 2 years, focusing on hygiene, and do a lot of jobs in Asia. In Asia, you already saw that it was quite normal that they walk around with. They live in environments, urban areas where hygiene is very important. So I think the understanding of being, having a good hygiene, that understanding is definitely increased. And therefore, it was interesting to hear that the products that Swiss Krono is offering actually really fits with that trend, because it's definitely something which I think will be more important towards the future. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, then I would suggest we go ahead with the next trend. And actually, I personally very much looking forward to that one. It's the Me Shed. I'm very curious to learn more about it. And Kees, I would like to hand over to you.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you. All right, let's go to trend number 3, the Me Shed. The Me Shed is all about a space, an interior where we truly can be ourselves, where we can rest, hide from the outside, where we can work, where we can recharge, where we can relax. Let's say we go from the man cave to the me cave. And the main driver for this trend is the increasing acknowledgement of mental well-being. Mental well-being is one of the biggest challenges for people in the 21st century, as the rate of burnouts, depression, loneliness, and anxiety are skyrocketing. Also, the discussion of the topic is becoming increasingly common, and more people look for a place to feel safe, a place that feels not influenced by these external pressures they have to face every day. Because another driver of this trend is a complex world. Most people experience that modern life is very demanding, and for more and more people, modern life can even be overwhelming. People experience an overload of information, they experience an overload of bad news, an overload of choices they have to make every day. So sometimes we really need a place to unplug, a place to rest, a place to recharge. And the last driver is self-expression. What's very important for people when it comes to interior or living in general is that you want to make your place a place for your own. And this is especially important for the millennial generation. A place should represent who you are. A place should represent your identity. And an interior is actually an extension of yourself. So the Me Shed is therefore an ideal manifestation of that specific need. And well, Heike, how do you work with this trend, the Me Shed?
Oh, the most relaxing and recharging ingredients are found in nature. So bring nature into your home. Sustainability in all areas of life are in the focus. This does not mean back to the roots, but a new intelligent understanding of natural systems and a balanced use of technology for good. The new connection with nature is the script for creating a safe, comfortable place for one's home, workplace, and public spaces, to live, to think, work, to create, or simply be. The decors used show the language of nature without ornamental frills. They reflect the simplicity of raw and pure aesthetics. Only cracks, rustic elements, such as knots or traces of age or use, form the pattern. Oak and other precious regional and traditional materials like walnut, marbles, textiles, or leather are respectfully treated by human handcraft. The color hues are deep and rich. Green is the predominant color in this case. The palette ranges from soft tones to a kind of emerald with cool influence that makes clear the new level of sustainability. This is a combination that creates cultural and individual identity for a very private refuge to switch off and relax in.
Well, by only listening to you, I could see myself being in a very comfortable environment. So thank you for that one. Kees, would you like to join us? So, as I just said, it's a topic that I really, really like because I think it's very important also for the mental health to have like a Me Shed. So, Heike, my question to you is, how can I turn my living space into an area of well-being? Maybe you can give us some advices according to materials, decors, colors, or maybe also a light concept.
Sure, as I mentioned, use plants as decoration. It will bring in not just a relaxing color, but also a good climate to your home. Keep decoration calm and clear, and add some rustic natural elements to it, like a piece of driftwood, soft and cozy textiles, fur, wickerwork, or souvenirs from your journeys. The light concept should be based on spotlight sources of warm light or candlelight. A room looks cozier if it has several small light sources.
Nice. I like it. I really would like to try it out. So, Kees, a lot of people are living in big cities and space is expensive. So, a lot of them are living in very small apartments. My question to you, how can I create a me space, a me shed in a super small apartment where I have to combine living space, bedroom, kitchen, office space all together? How can I find space?
It feels like you know already what the next trend would be, because actually the next trend would give an answer to this.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Perfect.
Shall we go?
We go ahead and then please start. I'm very excited.
Yeah. Let's go to the last trend. Trend number 4, responsive furniture. We increasingly live a more, let's call it an agile life. The line between work and life is more blurred than ever. We need a working space, as Claudia is mentioning already, in one moment, and a living space in another moment. So the space around us, the interior, should be flexible and transformable in order to fit our current needs. So this trend is all about the space around us that needs to adapt to these changing circumstances. And I don't have to explain the role of COVID that has put us in, let's say, the biggest working from home experiment ever. And that we know from research is that there are large groups of people that have huge problems with balancing their work-life situation. So the need to find flexible and transformable solutions is very big. And although we were not, let's say, voluntarily put in this working from home experience, research also suggests that many people now prefer at least some form of hybrid work. Looking at my customers, I see there are many companies that are creating, let's say, hybrid new work solutions, even as the new norm. But what makes that a bit tricky as well is that we have limited space. In most urban areas, for example. In my country, for example, space is actually one of the most scarce commodities. So we need to adapt to these circumstances, as for many, the hybrid working and living will be there forever. Multifunctional spaces, flexible, transformable interiors are definitely here to stay. And Heike, I would like to hand over to you.
Thank you, Kees. Well, if room is tight and change is the credo of the hour and we appreciate the change and work-life balance is taken seriously, then interiors and their surfaces have to be not only flexible and modular, but they also should be innovative and have an added value, such as protective surfaces like BeSafe, for example. From a surface design point of view, our multifunctional spaces require adaptable designs which fit always and everywhere. A light chestnut fulfills this requirement in several aspects. Chestnut is the wood grain that provides courage and supports transformative processes. In a light shade and its natural appearance, it is very well suited to changing circumstances. Combine it with a lively but calm terrazzo and warm neutral colors such as mocha and a warm gray. Then use large areas of our warm white and you will get an open, friendly and inspiring ambience. The icing on the cake is silk, a light, friendly blue-violet that brings in a bit of that metaverse future-oriented touch. For flooring, we suggest a darker ash with even this slight violet undertone. So we get a very open-minded, cheeky look that leaves space for flexibility and make the room appear wider.
Thank you, Heike. I am convinced that this trend will become more and more relevant and also important for the future. Right, Kees, would you like to join us once more?
Of course.
And when we're talking about relevance, responsive furniture, would you say that this is special for a certain kind of group, let's say generations or a special target group?
Good question. Well, I think it's relevant for everyone because, especially if you live in urban areas, you need these solutions. To change, especially if you have a smaller house, for example, or an apartment, you need to be adaptable, and therefore it fits to everyone. But what I know from sociocultural research, generational research, is that especially, unfortunately, my generation, Generation X, they have the the hardest time to balance their work and life. This has to do with the fact that they, most of them, or a lot of them, have kids. So they have to raise kids. They're at the age that they have responsible jobs, and they are at the age that they have to increasingly take care of their parents as well. So they're under very high pressure in this life stage, so to speak. And therefore, I think, especially for this generation, this trend is important, and they really need more flexibility than, for example, a millennial living alone or with a couple in an apartment.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. It's a very important point. Heike, you were talking about a certain material, terrazzo. I know it from back in the day. So why is it so special? And of course, why is it so up to date right now?
Yeah, well, terrazzo is one of my favorite materials. Terrazzo is a traditional upcycling topic and at the same time enables the creation of new materials in the sense of the circular economy. For example, by fusing different waste materials, and this creates wonderful optics. Terrazzo is well known from the antique and was popular in the founders area as well. In the 60s, it lost its importance and was replaced by currently more modern flooring coverings such as PVC or tiles. Nowadays, it has been rediscovered, and I think this also has to do with the floor design of cafe in Milan. It's on the area of foundation of a very famous fashion brand, and it was opened in 2015. And from this time on, terrazzo became more and more important, and you can find terrazzo patterns now used in all kinds of products.
Beautiful. And now it's back. And you also brought some examples. And I think you can also see, I mean, it's very calm, it's beautiful. And I could also think that you can combine it with a lot of different materials. Am I right?
Yeah, the beautiful thing is that there are a lot of colors in, and you have warm colors, cool colors, so you can combine it perfectly to any wood grain. And it is very adaptable.
It is. All right, so I think we are almost at the end. So first of all, thank you both so much for your presentations of the 4 trends. It was really fun for me to host this webinar, and it was great to discover those 4 trends with you. Thank you very much. Wow, that was really exciting and inspiring. Dear viewers, I think with these 4 trends, everyone will find the relevant interior combination and also a good guide, not only for today, but also for the next years. If you want to know more about trends and which products are best to combine, feel free to contact both Heike and Kees. You can see their contact details right here. Thank you very much for watching our webinar today. Take care and see you next time.